The first shloka ever to be written was by Valmiki Maharshi, which became an introduction to entire Ramayana.
A simple, effective shloka routine.
Before bathing, we stand in front of the water of bucket and take a mug of water in your hand, and then before you start pouring it on yourself, you chant one shloka. That is
Chant on attracting financial wealth and financial freedom.
definitely Shri Suktam. It's a Veda mantra again. Japa Anushtana for those who know their Ishta. But for those who do not know their Ishta, then we have two strong recommendations. First is doing the Bija mantra of Bhagavan Ganesha. That is Om Gam Ganapataye Namah.
What are these Bija mantras?
It's like a Devata manifests in the form of sound. A Devata can manifest in the form of a geometry.
Some people say with Om Namah Shivaya, you shouldn't bring the word Om. So what is the correct thing?
Especially Om and Gayatri mantra, they are so powerful that they can alter the flow of the prana within you. The reasons why they say not to chant, women should not chant and all, is that whenever you're doing any practice that is spiritual, the upward flow of energy it becomes stronger and stronger.
What is that one effective, simple shloka for boosting overall health, physical health and mental health?
Oh, definitely Dhanvantari Shloka.
Vijayalakshmi Nirvana is a Gurukula-trained spiritual lifestyle coach and clinically certified yoga therapist who seamlessly blends Sanatan Dharma, yoga therapy and modern everyday living. With 6 years of traditional Gurukula education in Sanskritam, Vedas, Upanishad, Gita, Ayurveda and Yoga, followed by a bachelor's and master's in yoga therapy from Smarta and Kasturba Gandhi Medical College, she brings a rare depth to both Shastras and science.
The idea of Mrityunjaya is not like removing death. The last shloka that we have is before going to bed, close your eyes, a few conscious breath. You don't have to do any pranayama. Chant this shloka, that is Ramam Skandam. Surrender to Rama, Skanda, Hanuman and Vainateya. They will not be troubled by bad dreams, which means they will have a very beautiful,
Peaceful sleep.
If mispronunciation is done, the energy that mantra is going to give, your body cannot contain it. There are cases where people have literally gone mad. That is where Guru's guidance is important. They say it is limited to Brahmana alone, not because of their jati, because of the lifestyle that they follow naturally. So anybody who follows this lifestyle can become a Brahmana.
What is the lifestyle that a shloka practitioner should have?
The three things are very important. One is alcohol, smoking, as well as non-vegetarian food. If you are going to a temple or if you are going to sit in a puja, they say do not eat onion, garlic or too much spices. Why? Because it can have a very strong influence on your body and mind.
For better focus in studies for all students, what would that one shloka be?
Praying to Ma Saraswati or Smarta Gayatri.
As a co-founder of the Nirvana Academy, she has guided over 45,000 students through spiritual lifestyle programs, mantra stotra chanting, women's health modules and preventive yoga therapy workshops. Her digital community of over 7.2 lakh followers reflects her growing impact as she makes spiritual living practical, rooted and transformative for householders and sincere seekers. We're honored to welcome Vijayalakshmi Nirvana to the Body to Being podcast.
I have to ask your husband. Husband's laughing. He's not
Yeah, please tell. You don't laugh, please talk.
We don't have any problem.
From here only. Living testimony. देखो अपने पास witness है. हाँ बताइए.
Yes.
No
So
problem
she
ना.
don't have any problem.
She's not left you na.
Yes.
Still married na happily.
We are together.
We are very happy, say
We are
that.
very happy.
When we say shloka, most people think of traditional Sanskrit verses, poetry even, but that's not quite it. The deeper Vedic view of a shloka can almost be understood as a yantra which is made of vibrations. You see, each shloka is mapped to a specific energy center which is a chakra. So the Gayatri mantra, for example, resonates with the Agnya and the Sahasrara chakra. The Mahamrityunjay works on the Anahata and the Vishuddhi. The Am Namah Shivaya travels through the entire spine, and the Lalita Sahasranama nourishes all the 7 chakras. And on the energetic plane, these vibrations weave a kavach or a protection around the individual. So shlokas can be seen as the keys which unlock specific states of consciousness. And as with mantras, even in shlokas, the sound is what holds the instrument of transformation, and which is why pronunciation, intonation, phonetics, ucharan, the manner of chanting, everything becomes very important. And in this masterclass, you'll be learning exactly this, a step by step guide as to which shloka to chant, how to chant, when to chant, the significance behind the chant, and ultimately a surprise takeaway. So please do watch the video till the end. Our endeavor is always to provide free, authentic masterclass on all things Sanatan. So I would be extremely grateful if you can share this video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which part of the masterclass you most resonated with.
Namaskaram, Vijayalakshmi ji. Thank you for being a part of the Body to Being podcast.
First of all, thank you for having us here, the Nirvana. If it's not much of a problem, I would like to start with invocation because that's what we do. We want to offer our gratitude to wherever all of this has come from. So, Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं महागणपतये नमः प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजतागन्तु यज्ञं हवन् देवी जुजुषाणा घृताचीषग्मान्नो वाचमुषति शृणोतु वाग्देव्यै नमः चरणं पवित्रं विततं पुराणं येन पूतस्तरति दुष्कृतानि तेन पवित्रेण शुद्धेन पूताः अतिपाप्मानमरातिन्तरेम श्रीसद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः.
You know, the idea of having a masterclass on shlokas organically came up when we were actually having a discussion on mantras. And I'm so glad we're taking up this topic because it's unique, it's fascinating. I don't think there's much out there. So, for a very long time, when people used to ask me, what is the meaning of my name? I used to say that, they are Sanskrit verses, they are poetry, they are hymns. And it was only much later that I realized that shlokas can be as powerful, if not more powerful, than the mantras. So, for one, it stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that connects brain to multiple internal organs. It heightens the activity of the gamma and the theta, which are creative centers. On an energetic plane, it acts as a suraksha kavach, as a raksha kavach, as a protection. So, there are so many benefits of the shlokas, but I feel like shlokas have not gotten the kind of importance that perhaps mantras have gotten. So, what are we going to be learning in today's class?
I would really love for our viewers to, explore the possibility of having a Dinacharya around the shlokas because it's a way powerful practice. Shlokas, like we spoke about, it's not just working on emotional, they set an intention for your daily life. So, we will be looking at Shloka Dinacharya. So, what are the simple yet very potent intentionally, emotionally potent shlokas that they can chant throughout the day. Major ones, of course. There are thousands of them, hundreds, thousands of them. But we will be looking at the major ones. And also the ones that they must teach their children. That's our strong recommendation. So we can look at those shlokas to begin with. But before starting, I would like to urge all the viewers that do not just, after watching this, do not just leave it, leave it in the YouTube and go off. Try, it's a very simple routine. So try it for 21 days. That's all we are asking. Give your best for 21 days and you yourself, we promise you from our experience that you yourself will see the quality of your life changing just by chanting and following these routines.
We'll start from the morning.
So as soon as we wake up, we want to start our day with a beautiful intention. Intention towards our own selves as well as to the nature that's around us, that's helping us live our life. So right when we get up, even before getting off the bed, we sit upright and we hold our palm. There are different practices around this, but this is what we teach. So you hold our palm like that in front and we chant the shloka. Karagre vasate lakshmihi, karamadhye saraswati, karamule sthita gauri, prabhate karadarshanam, which means at the top of the palms stays or resides Ma Gauri, and at the center resides Ma Lakshmi, and at the bottom resides Ma Saraswati. So,
Achha.
yeah. So we acknowledge their presence, and then for the purpose of acknowledging that presence, we do the Kara Darshanam first thing in the morning. That itself is the meaning of the shloka. See, the idea is people talk about invoking these deities, but the idea is those deities, they are definitely the energy aspects that we have given different names. And whatever the energy that is in the outside universe, the same energy is on the inside also. So the very purpose of this shloka is to acknowledge that energy that's already within us. So invoking not the deities in the palm, but invoking those energies from within. For example, Ma Gauri, Durga, she stands for power, strength to face the difficulties. I invoke that power within me when I do Karadarshanam. And similarly, Ma Lakshmi, who is the foundation, who is Adhara, because she is the deity of resources for life, and I have the power to gather those resources in a dharmic way, and I invoke that power from within me. And then Ma Saraswati, who is the deity of wisdom, and that same wisdom that helps me live a life that is for of my well-being, that is in keeping with my well-being. So I invoke those energies within me by doing this Karadarshanam. You're basically acknowledging your own energies that are present. This is a very empowering practice if you chant the shloka with this intention. It's not thinking about the deities somewhere on the outside. It's rather you consider them to be on the inside and you invoke that aspect. And once we do that, once we have acknowledged the divinity within, now we want to acknowledge the divinity on the outside, that is out in the nature, for us to be grateful for what the nature is giving. If it isn't for her, we don't have a life. But we fail to acknowledge the amount of resource the nature gives us, and because of that, look where we are going today. We are exploiting. So to make sure we as humans don't go to that extent, there is one shloka which offers gratitude, because when there is gratitude, you have respect. When you have respect, you take the responsibility of utilizing and not exploiting. So there is one shloka. Chant Samudravasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kshamaswame. When you are doing Padasparsham Kshamaswame, then when you are chanting, you can simply bow down if you have the option. Go all the way to the ground, touch the ground, and then say this. This is a way to acknowledge. It's as though, like, before stepping, that means before utilizing, I ask
Thank.
sorry, and then I say gratitude. Sorry, I'm using you, I have to. Then I say my gratitude, and then I go about my life. That gives us a sense of responsibility towards this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you started with the morning and what should be done first thing in the morning, because as per the yogic texts, it is said that morning and waking up is like a rebirth, because the Atman or the soul is coming out of certain realms of dreams. And if you chant something very powerful early in the morning, then it helps to anchor the consciousness in awareness and also helps to break a lot of karmic patterns.
So while chanting this, there is one common mistake, but we need to keep in mind is the word Lakshmi. People chant it as Lakshmi. It is Lakshmihi. So you need it.
Aha.
Right? It's actually, so Karagre Vasate Lakshmihi. Karamadhye Saraswati. So the Anuswara, because that's the actual word. Lakshmi is not the actual word. Lakshmihi is the actual word, Samskrita. So that correction, I feel like everyone has to keep in mind.
So after practicing the shloka, what is the next shloka that we do and when?
Like usually we consider that as soon as we wake up, we go about cleansing ourselves. So we do the brushing, all of that, and then straight away go to bathing. Yeah. That's the ideal Dinacharya in Sanatana Dharma. So we proceed with that. Before bathing, like we stand in front of the water of bucket and take a mug of water in your hand, and then before you start pouring it on yourself, you chant one shloka. That is, Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhin Kuru. Basically, if we can see, it is simply the names of the sacred rivers that we have in India. The shloka is actually inviting, literally invoking all the energies, the sanctity of all these rivers in the water that we are going to bathe with, right? So the idea is, rivers are known for their purity because they're flowing water. They're highly pure in nature. And that same spirit, that same amount of purity, we are requesting through this bathing. Because Ayurveda gives a lot of importance for snana. Ayurveda has a list of shlokas that talks about the benefits of snana. It's not just cleansing your body.
Correct.
It has a lot of influence on the nervous system, on the pranic flow, all those things.
And the Panchabhautik system, because as per the yogic text, it also helps to cleanse the water element, the Jal Tattva in the system. Yeah.
Strengthen also. So keeping this, again, we chant this shloka to acknowledge all those aspects. It's literally sanctifying every act, make it sacred before we proceed, and the shloka helps with that for taking the bath. So you chant that and then you go about taking bath. See, the best time to do, like we said, it's first thing in the morning, because it literally resets your system. It brings you out of the tamas. The nidra is all about tamas, no? Sleep is all about tamas, which is good actually. But then as the day goes, you don't need that tamas with you, because you
Tamas
want to
is
be,
inertia.
Inertia. You want to be more active for the day to come, right? So that's why bathing is recommended first thing in the morning, like even before anything else. So early in the morning, take bath. And if you can chant this shloka every day, all I ask is, maybe you can try for 21 days and see it for yourself, that if you can chant a shloka, this particular shloka, before bathing, the bathing itself is a very powerful way to reset your system, to energize your system. And with adding shloka, the same process becomes much more mindful. And again, the same benefit of chanting the shloka, that is, you connect with what you're doing the action very mindfully, and that itself brings a lot of meaning, and it gives you a very enriching experience out of something as simple as bathing.
Okay. Before we go to the next Dinacharya shloka, we have a viewer's choice chant, and they requested that you offer the viewers a chant on attracting financial wealth and financial freedom. So what is that chant that can basically attract more wealth?
Yeah. The most powerful one, definitely Shri Suktam. It's a Veda mantra again. But next to that, we have two things. There are, in fact, very powerful stotras which they can listen to, like starting with Kanakadhara Stotram, which was composed by Bhagavan Sri Adi Shankaracharya. And the story goes like, right after he composed it, there was a rain of golden Indian gooseberries. So that's how powerful Kanakadhara Stotram is. So it's a little difficult one to chant. So they can definitely listen to it, and also they can listen to Lalita Sahasranama. But if you want to practice, then here is one simple shloka that is from the Mahalakshmi Ashtakam. Namaste stu mahamaye Shri Pithe Surapujite Shankha Chakra Gadahaste Mahalakshmi Namostute. They can chant this shloka every day basically. But definitely, having said that, there is definitely no replacement for the hard work. So along with hard work, if they can develop this positive attitude, this shloka helps achieve that. They can develop this positive attitude towards the resource, towards the wealth, then it's even more, it adds a lot more quality to their hard work. So they can definitely chant this shloka.
And what is the best time to chant this shloka, and how many times?
So definitely you can do it every day. You have to do it in the morning. That's our recommendation. Also, whenever you are about to start a work that brings finances into your life, that like money, salary or something, starting something, then you can chant this 3 times. You close your eyes, maybe Namaskara Mudra, chant this with utmost mindfulness, visualizing Mahalakshmi, and then go about your work. Leave it to her and she will take care of it. That's the idea.
Very nice.
Yes.
So far, we've seen what shloka to chant first thing when we wake up in the morning, what shloka to chant before we bathe, and what's the next shloka and when is that to be chanted?
So after taking bath, before we go about our day, our strong recommendation is sit with yourself for 15 minutes, especially for the beginners who want to start their spiritual journey. This 15 minutes Anushtanam is what we strongly recommend right after taking bath, before breakfast. So we go to, if most of the homes have their puja room, the altar, there will be an altar. In front of it, they have to sit. So clean the space. All of that is done. If you do not have altar for some reason, then maybe light a deepam. You choose a clean, quiet corner of your home, clean that space and light a deepam, because that itself works as the presence of the deity. The altar, the purpose of altar is to have a very living presence of the deity, and deepam also can do that. So we light a deepam. There is a shloka for lighting the deepam also. While lighting the deepam, they can chant this. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyandhana sampadam shatru buddhi vinashaya deepajyotirnamostute. Basically, this shloka is you having a conversation with that deepam. Because the deepam stands for it acts as the mediator between you and the divine. So in the beginning, we do not have much strong connection with the divine. It's all about me and myself. So there has to be something that works as a connection between us, and the Deepam acts as that, the fire of the Deepam. That's why Veda has given a lot of importance for Agni. And it's the same fire or Deepam that stands as a Sakshi. It'll be the witness for your effort. Like it's your practice companion. We have that word, no, your accountability partner. And the Deepam can do that job way better than a human, actually. For everybody who gets into this 21 day of practice will know what we mean when they start practicing. It can remind you of the promise that you did. Like, I will do this for 21 days. The lighting the Deepam is the very act of reminding yourself of that. And yes, there are some Patha Bhedas, means some people chant a few words differently. One of them is people chant it as Shubham Karotu Kalyanam, or people also chant Shubham Karoti Kalyanam. Grammatically, all of them are correct. But Karotu, Karoti, Kurutvam, all of these bring up different emotion. Like Karotu means you do it. It's like ordering, you do it. Karoti means it will do. It's very it's a very passive way. And there is no stronger connection when you're having that kind of conversation. Karoti means it will do anyway, right? Or Kurutva means I am asking, I am requesting, you please do. So our strong recommendation is Kurutvam. The variation or the Patha is Shubham Kurutvam Kalyanam.
Okay.
So now after lighting the lamp, usual practice is we offer flowers in the altar. We offer flowers and then we offer dhupam. After that, you sit in a place. Like you have to use a mat. We don't recommend sitting on a bare floor. So use a mat and then sit in any comfortable meditative posture. And then you go about this beautiful 15 minutes Anushtanam. We present this 15 minutes Anushtanam in 5 steps. So the first step, very important one, is chanting Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. So that is the first step. And the very intention of keeping this as the first step is to remind our mind that there is only one God. Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti, means there is only one supreme consciousness, and we as the devotees, we talk about them or we call them with different names, looking at different aspects of that same energy. All the deities that we talk about, there are different aspects of this one higher energy. It's like the same Vijayalakshmi, for her husband, she's a wife. For her children, she's a mother. For her parents, she's a daughter. So based on the responsibility, based on the characteristic features in that responsibility, the same person is referred to with different names. Names in the sense like mother, daughter, wife. So the divine is also like that. There is only one entity, that supreme entity. Different aspects of that same entity, when it is manifested, we give them different names. We want to remember this. So Om Shri Paramatmane. Paramatma means that supreme Atma or supreme consciousness. So Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha, first step. Now we have second step, which is chanting daily prayer shlokas to acknowledge all those divine entities that are going to support us through the rest of the day. So we always start with Ganesha Shloka. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighnam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. This is offering our humble salutation to Bhagavan Ganesha. And when we do that, we have to have the intention that whatever Ganesha stands for, it's like Vignaharta, we call him as. Like
Obstacle remover.
he's the one who rules out the obstacles, who removes the obstacles that come our way. It's not that he is coming somewhere from Kailasa, he comes to our life in the day, he does that. The best way he does that is when we make our effort for a work or for something to happen, whatever obstacle comes, we will become eligible, empowered enough to overcome that obstacle. It's having the same spirit of an elephant. It's going somewhere, some obstacle comes, it will either destroy that obstacle or it will go around it, but it will never stop. So invoking Bhagavan Ganesha is to invoke that spirit within us. So we start our day with that. And then we go about chanting Shloka for Ma Saraswati, who is the deity of the wisdom. And we want to invoke that wisdom that's within us. The importance and the benefit of chanting this shloka is, again, to acknowledge and invoke the same energy within us, which looks for the wisdom, which lives by the wisdom that we learn. And we offer gratitude to her because it is because of her grace we achieve that. So we chant this shloka. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Tvamaham prarthaye nityam vidyam buddhincha dehi me. Here I know there is a pathabheda where people say vidya danancha dehi me, but if you see the meaning wise, it doesn't make much sense, because vidya is of course wisdom or knowledge, and then danam is to give. Danam is to offer. Cha letter means this and that. The very meaning of cha is and. So vidya dana means there is only one aspect, whereas vidyam buddhim cha, there are two aspects. So the very purpose of adding the letter cha, which means and, means that there are two aspects, that is vidya and buddhi. So the correct pronunciation would be vidyam buddhincha dehi me. This is something that everyone have to note. And we chant only once, and then we proceed to the next shloka. Here we are offering through namaha. Namaha, namaste Sharada Devi. Namaha te. Te means to you. So I offer my humble salutation to Ma Sharada, and please help me by giving vidya and buddhi. Vidya means knowledge, but we have to have proper intellect or intelligence to use that knowledge. So we are requesting her to bless with both. So that is about the shloka. So after this, we chant a shloka for Guru, acknowledging the importance of Guru's presence. And here we are invoking the Trinity, the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara in the form of Guru. One way to look at that. Or if somebody already has a Guru in their life, we are acknowledging that same divinity in that Guru. So if somebody already has a Guru in their life, they will know the kind of influence, the kind of support the Guru brings. It's nothing less than divine. So through this shloka, we either invoke those trinities as our Guru, or we invoke them in our Guru. And the chanting is Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We chant only once. Yes, there is a pathabheda where people say Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Grammatically it is correct, no problem in that. But to be more precise, so technically if you want to get it right, it is Parabrahma. Right? So, and people chant it as Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo. Yeah. It is Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, Gurur Brahma, Rakara should come in between. Otherwise, it's Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. Correct. It doesn't, Guru word is not there. It is Guru who word. So Visarga comes. Okay. So there is some technical.
So you said Gurur, na?
Gurur Brahma.
Yeah.
And after that we go about chanting a shloka for Mahalakshmi. The shloka is from Mahalakshmi Ashtakam. Just to remind, the shloka is Namaste Stu Mahamaye Shri Pithe Sura Pujite Shankha Chakra Gada Haste Mahalakshmi Namostute. Like see, in the first we said Lakshmihi. Here it is only Lakshmi. Mahalakshmi Namostute. Here again this is also one time chanting. The common mistake is people say Mahalakshmi Namostute. It's actually Dirgha letter Mahalakshmi. They have to extend Mahalakshmi. Now people might get question that in Karagre Vasate Lakshmihi we recommended it is Lakshmihi. Why not that here? There we are talking about them as a we are not addressing them. We are not having conversation with them. It is a noun there, so we simply take their name. Whereas here, we are conversing with the divine. We call it Sambodhanam. Okay. So these are different forms in Sanskritam. So here we say only Mahalakshmi Namostute. Right? This is again one-time chanting, and for financial, again acknowledging the divine that is there in the form of financial resources, not just in the form of money. It can be anything, including food and all. So we want to acknowledge any and every resource in our life and say, be thankful to it. So we chant this shloka. The last one in this second step would be chanting a shloka of Navagrahas. So the shloka is Namah Suryaya Somaya Mangalaya Budhaya Cha Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha Rahave Ketave Namaha. Here again one time chanting. There are pathabhedas where they chant Namah Suryaya Chandraya. Chandra, Soma, both are same. Both are correct. Whatever you have been taught, you can proceed with that. We chant it once. The very idea of offering Namaste to Navagraha Sukta is more like peacemaking. Because in our tradition, we strongly believe that the Navagrahas, the 5 great elements, all these physically manifested entities can have a very strong influence on our body and mind. And that means it can be for our own good, or it can come in the way of our life also, based on our own karma, of course. It's not that they pick and choose, but because they all have a very strong influence, we want to make peace with them. We want to offer our gratitude. We say thank you. We offer acknowledgement. So that shloka. That is, with that we conclude the second step. Third step is the 15 minutes anushtanam. This is the core of the practice also, I have told. Now this first and second step is about becoming mindful towards the divine, acknowledging there is something that's more than me. It's not just me. It's more than me. Now it's time to contemplate on that divine, and you can give any name to it. This third step is all about contemplating on that divine, on that form of the divine to which you can connect better. Okay, so this third step is all about Ishta Devata. So the third step is Japa Anushtanam. You do the Japa of Ishta Devata. The best way to start this Japa practice, because this is what can take you beyond, limiting sense of body. It can take your mind to higher realm. Not on the very first day, of course, but it has the potency to do that. So to prepare yourself, you always start with Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. So if for those who do not know the practice, this is Nasika Mudra. We fold the second and third finger, and then we use the thumb to close the right nostril, and then ring finger to close the left nostril. So the pranayama is, first you always start with the left nostril. So you close the right nostril, exhale completely through the left nostril, and then slowly breathe in through the left. At the end, you close the left, exhale, breathe out through the right, and then you breathe in through the right again, close it, you breathe out through the left. This is one round. So you repeat that again, continue with the left, and then you go on for 3 to 5 rounds. 5 rounds is strongly recommended, because by then your mind will settle to a greater extent. And with that settled mind, you go ahead to chant one stotra. If you already know your Ishta Devata, you pick your favorite stotra of your Ishta Devata and chant it. Because the very purpose of doing that is to bring your Ishta Devata to the back of your mind now. You are giving a place, you are establishing that energy in the back of your mind, and you go on contemplating on that energy through japa. And the stotras do a beautiful job for that. Right? But make sure you choose your favorite one, not randomly. Stick to one. Yes, after that, 2 things you can do. One, if they know the Ishta Devata, just do the Nama Japa. Pick a favorite name of the Devata, like Shiva, Rama, Krishna, and so on, and just go on repeating that like 108 times. Because it's a very small word. Minimum is 54 times, and then maximum 108 times. It can be more also throughout the day. But on the go, it's 108. That's Nama Japa Anushtanam. There is Namaskarartha mantra.
So Nama Japa would be like Krishna, 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 Krishna.
Yes.
Like this only, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, with all awareness, that's all. The rhythm itself has an extreme power to keep the mind in the practice. Nama Japa is powerful because of its rhythm.
What is the rhythm? If you
Like
can give us
the
an example.
Krishna, 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 Krishna. This rhythm, we think that it's very boring, but then once you get into the practice and you do it with awareness, you will notice your brain falls in line very quickly.
Okay.
So that is Nama Japa. If not, you can go for Namaskarartha Japa. Namaskarartha mantras are there. For example, to the same Nama, you add Om and Namaha. Om at the beginning and Namaha at the end. So, if it is Rama, for Rama, you can chant the Ramataraka mantra, Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, that. Or for Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Or for Bhagavan Shiva, you can chant Om Namah Shivaya. We call it Shiva Panchakshari mantra. So, these are Namaskarartha mantras. Again, as the mantras become longer, the number of repetition to begin with reduces actually.
Okay.
So for Om Namah Shivaya, for example, it is longer than only Shiva, Shiva, Shiva.
Correct.
Right? So we recommend starting with at least 28, because quality over quantity.
Okay.
You do your 108 times and your mind is not there, it's of no use. For your mind, if you take too much on your plate, mind can feel overwhelmed and it will just run off without even coming into your control. So we can start with 28, and then gradually there will come, and I tell this from my experience, that you start with 28 and there will come a day where 28 doesn't feel like enough. You feel like you want more. That means your mind is ready to go higher, and it will come. If you're being consistent, it will come, and that's when you pick up 54 number, and then 108 and so on. So that is Japa Anushtana for those who know their Ishta. But for those who do not know their Ishta, then we have two strong recommendations. First is doing the Bija mantra of Bhagavan Ganesha. That is Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. It's a Bija mantra because it has a Bijakshara in it. Gam is the Bijakshara of Bhagavan Ganesha, is one of the Bijaksharas of Bhagavan Ganesha. So, Om Gam Ganapataye Namah, they can chant. The very purpose of starting off with Bhagavan Ganesha, especially in case of those who do not know their Ishta or confused between whether that, like, sometimes today you hear Bhagavata story, Krishna is your favorite. Tomorrow you see some Shiva story, so Shiva is favorite. It's nice. You at least your mind is going somewhere in that aspect. But then when it comes to Anushtanam, that can be very confusing. That can be very distracting. So to avoid that distraction, to develop a strong conviction, there is nobody better than Bhagavan Ganesha. And we know why already. I know it's a Bija mantra. It has a Bijakshara in it. I myself am a practitioner. That is why I'm recommending. It's always strongly recommended to receive the practice from a person who has done the Purascharana of practice. Purascharana means they have to have done the practice of it, not just 1 or 2 times, like 108 times for so many days. They say how many ever mantras, how many ever letters are there in the mantras. Like for example, you have Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So 9 letters in this. For each letter, 1 lakh repetition.
Oh.
So for Om, 1 lakh repetition, Gam, 1 lakh repetition, like that. So we need to go around till 9 lakh. So for example, in Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, including Om, 9 letters. So 9 lakhs of
My
time.
God.
Yeah. That's when that particular person becomes kind of eligible to give the practice to others. While pronouncing, instead of Gam, you say Gang. So Ka Kha Ga Gha Nga. Ngakara should come in the place of only for this. So it becomes Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Yes, so that is one, that's the right actually. That's how we pronounce this particular mantra.
I've also heard that the word Gan, it activates the Mooladhara chakra.
Yes, as per Tantra, Bhagavan Ganesha is the deity that resides in Mooladhara chakra. And chanting any of his, there is Lam also, but Gam especially, it is helpful in activating or balancing, starting with balancing and then activating Mooladhara chakra.
We were speaking of the Japa Anushtanam. We spoke of the first one, which was the Ganapati Bija mantra. What's the second one?
Second one is especially for those who have a lot of interest in receiving the practice of Gayatri mantra, that is Veda Gayatri mantra, but do not have an option, like they do not have a guru who can give it to them yet. It's definitely, I strongly believe in, if you prepare yourself enough, the nature will arrange things for you. So there is something called Smarta Gayatri mantra. So the Gayatri mantra Om Bhurbhuvasvaha part, that is Veda Gayatri mantra, which is there in the Vedas. The same, literally the same meaning, but in the form of a shloka, is called Smarta Gayatri mantra. That particular Gayatri mantra is in Gayatri Chandas. This Gayatri mantra is in Anushtup Chandas. So it is in the form of a shloka. And we call it Smarta Gayatri mantra. The mantra is Yo Devas Savita Smakan Dhiyo Dharmadi Gocharaha Prerayet Tasya Yadbhargas Tadvarenyamupasmahe. And we are talking about doing the Japa Anushtana of this shloka instead of Gayatri, because the meaning is literally the same. So as you chant this particular shloka, more number of times, it can be considered as mantra. A shloka which is repeated for more number of times, that can also become a mantra. Okay, we can discuss about the difference between mantra and shloka. So because you're repeating for so many times, throughout the repetition, if you can contemplate on the meaning of the stotra, this is going to align your intellect, your system to something similar to original Gayatri mantra. So to prepare your system, you can always take up this. And we recommend this only for those who have the interest of receiving Gayatri. Otherwise, Ganesha is the perfect one.
Okay.
This particular Smarta Gayatri, they can do throughout the day, even then, no problem.
You use the Bija word very often. What are these Bija mantras? And I've also been given to understand that one shouldn't use the Bija mantras recklessly.
Yeah. See, Bija, like the English word for bija, I mean, it makes more sense to know what is bija. That is seed. A seed has an enormous potential in it. A tiny seed can grow into this big tree which gives flowers. So one aspect of a bija mantra means it is really a sound energy of a particular devata. It's like a devata manifests in the form of sound. A devata can manifest in the form of a geometry. That is what we call as yantra. So it's the devata itself. That means that enormous energy is in a tiny seed form. So that is one. And the more we chant this, our mind begins to explore, connect and explore this enormous amount of energy gradually, right? So that is the understanding of what is bija mantra. And it is bija because it is capable of giving phala, fruit.
Okay.
So the more you practice, the more you do it with consistency, and again lifestyle is very important here, the more you do that, it gives the phala accordingly. That is why also it is called bija mantra.
Okay.
And bija mantra including om, actually om is also bija mantra. Starting from om, it's a bija mantra. All the bija mantras, for somebody to take the upasana of it, there is no restriction, like you should not pronounce it, is not like saying om, aim, hrim, simply for conversation's sake pronouncing, there is no restriction. The restriction is when you want to, as a practitioner, you want to take up the upasana of it, like you want to do the repetition for so many times. There, for that practice, you need a guru's upadesha, you need guru's guidance for it.
We are using om very often. Some say it is a, and then there is om. So what is the difference? Are they the same? Is it a distortion? What is the correct thing, or are they different versions?
See, as per the Upanishad, it actually comes in the Upanishad that om is actually, it looks like one sound, but it's actually a combination of three sounds, a, u and ma. But a and u, when combined together, they become o. That's the grammatical rule. That's how the Sanskritam is. Okay, so even though the sound is fundamentally made of akara, ukara and makara, and you can chant separately, like you can practice omkara in this form, like we have this relaxation technique where we chant for 3 to 5 rounds, 3 to 5 rounds, 3 to 5 rounds. We call it deep relaxation technique. In yoga therapy we use it. That can be done, but when you're clubbing it, it's always om. Shastras wise, it is always om. So omkara is a combination of 3 letters, but while chanting them together, we have to pronounce it as om, and that's what Shastra recommends also. Om upasana is only for the people who have taken up sannyasa. Because those who are in marriage life, if they go about doing this, then marriage life takes the back
So
seat.
omkara upasana is om.
Yeah, om, but there is a elaborate process.
Okay, so
for it.
limited number is not a problem. If you're saying it too much, uttering it too much, then it's a problem.
Yes,
for
and that too,
grihastha.
like 108 and all is fine.
Okay.
Every day.
Yeah.
But 1008, that too every day, like 3 times a day. The upasana is like that. The rules are like that. And the same rules for Gayatri also. 1008, 3 times a day, all those things are there.
Okay. So what happens if a person in grihastha, in a householder, in family life, is chanting a mantra many, many times, like 1008 and beyond?
So especially Om and Gayatri mantra, they are so powerful that they can alter the flow of the prana within you. We have, I feel like this is one of the reasons why they say not to chant, women should not chant and all. It's that whenever you're doing any practice that is spiritual, the upward flow of energy it becomes stronger and stronger, which means everything else takes the back seat. Like especially in case of women, the lower, that is apanavata, which is like reproductive system health and all, that gets altered. Now the body, because of the practice influences the chemistry within your body in terms of pranic flow. Like you have udana, you have pranavata, you have udanavata, which are upward flow of energy. They become stronger. For women's reproductive system is complicated, it's very sensitive. Sensitive would be the right word, because of the hormonal, the dancing of hormones, and it changes day by day. And when I say reproductive system, it's not just the uterus, it's everything. Like the hormone part comes in, and structural aspects also come in. So when we do a strong practice like Gayatri and Om for more than 108, like 1008 and all of this literally take the back seat. And your upward movement of energy becomes more stronger.
Namaskaram, I'm Shloka, We've spent a lot of time in developing this product, which is the authentic A2 Gir cow ghee by the brand name Yogic Organic. We've spent several years to bring this product to you. It has been sourced directly from Gujarat, from the best quality, free grazing A2 Gir cows. It is prepared in the traditional Bilona way, which is completely organic. It is churned from curd and not cream, which gives it that slightly grainy texture. It is rich in aroma, light on your digestion, and you already know that A2 Gir cow ghee has several health benefits. This is one of the highest quality of Gir cow ghees that are available in India as we speak. My endeavor was to bring to you the real goodness of authentic A2 Gir cow ghee, and here it is. Pre-orders are now open. To order, just call or WhatsApp on +91 8493 863427.
So with Gayatri Mantra, a couple of misconceptions. You can let us know if they are misconceptions. One is that some people say women should not chant the Gayatri Mantra.
Yeah. Yes, it's not just Gayatri Mantra. They say women do not have the adhikara of studying the Veda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I mean, it's a very traditional understanding, and I do not want to comment on, because it has come from a tradition. But as long as the fact is, the very source, that is Veda themselves, do not talk about this. The Apaurushaya Vedas, nowhere it is mentioned that women should not do it. In fact, there are women seers, women rishis who have given the Veda mantras for us. Women rishis.
Okay.
Rishikas, we say. Irony is, if you see the number of rishikas in the Vedic time, it's way less than rishis. I think around 27 of them we know.
Lady rishis.
Lady rishis we know today. Okay, so that itself should give us some idea of where this particular so-called restriction has come from. I don't have anything against that. Those, especially women who want to go by that, please feel free to do that. But I just want to say that I am from a living lineage of a teachers. I'm a part of a living lineage. I have received my Gurukula education where they have given the practice of Gayatri Mantra. They have been, right from childhood, I have studied Veda mantras. And I'm very well. Some people quote, I think in Bhagavata or somewhere, they say, Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhu Nam Trayo Vedana Gocharaha. So keeping this as reference, they say this is where the Shastras forbid you. Gocharaha means they cannot see it. They cannot see the importance of it. The very word of that. The very meaning of that word, Gocharaha, means is not visible. What is not visible? The mantras are not visible. That doesn't mean they should not do it. So that means it is purely a social construct, number one, because all these anushtanas take a lot of time. So if both husband and wife, both are doing the same, then who takes care of the family? In fact, if you see, when there is marriage, the husband is made to wear wife's upavitam, that is janivara or janiv, because he is taking the responsibility of doing the anushtanam on her behalf.
Okay. The Gayatri.
Anushtanam on her behalf.
Okay.
Which means he has to do it because she has to take care of the family. That means what? She has every right to do it. But because one of them should take care of the household, let the man do the job. And Gayatri cannot go more than 108 for a woman.
Okay.
If she sits down and does both of the years, then it will be more than 108. Right? So maybe these are the very
subtle.
These are the very subtle aspects which we have to consider to understand that women are very much, they do have the adhikar of everything.
With regards to Gayatri Mantra, it is said that the 24 syllables of the Gayatri Mantra align with the 24 energies, nadis in the spinal cord. Can you give me more such secrets on the Gayatri Mantra of the mystical nature?
Actually, yes. And I mean, I don't think it's mentioned in any text, but people from their experience, they say this, that each of the letter from Gayatri Mantra is associated with one of the nadis. That is why the first step of Purascharana of Gayatri is 3000 times. Purascharana means establishing in Gayatri practice is for repeating it 3000 times. Because when we do that, there is the number adds up to. So 24 into 3000 adds up to 72,000. Which is 72,000 nadis in our body. So every time you chant this mantra, it literally clears the blockages from these nadis of yours. And that's why they associate each letter to one of the nadis. And everybody should know that this is the first level of Purascharana, and you can actually experience it, given you have the right lifestyle. You will start to see the changes within yourself, given you have this practice with right lifestyle.
There was also some news which said that there are dangers associated with mispronouncing
Yes.
the Gayatri mantra.
Yes. It's not just Gayatri mantra, every Bija mantra. If you do the mispronunciation of it, then again, like what we discussed, like when we are talking about prana, naturally chakra and kundalini comes into play. Very discussion of prana brings in chakra as well as kundalini into it, which means any changes in current of prana, that is pranic flow, is going to influence chakra chakras within different chakras within your body, different mantras and different chakras. So Gayatri is known for Ajna and Sahasrara, right? So if mispronunciation is done, or too much, or this practice is done without proper lifestyle, in all these cases, the energy that mantra is going to give, your body cannot contain it. And it is not limited to Gayatri mantra alone. People do the chakra bija mantra anushtana, bija mantra meditation. They say mantra meditation. In the name of that, they do the practice of bija mantra of specific chakras. They do the practice of kundalini. All of these, there are cases where people have literally gone mad because, first of all, it is not very easy to invoke or activate a chakra or invoke kundalini. But if there are any specific practice, let's say somebody picks up from a book like Vijnana Bhairava Tantra and then starts doing it by themselves, and their body is not ready for it, then the energy, the body cannot take it, the enormous amount of energy. As a result of that, they do not know what to do with whatever experience is happening to them. That is where Guru's guidance is important. So this particular people going mad or health issues begin to arise. That is why, this is the very reason why Om Upasana, Gayatri Upasana are kept for one particular community, because if you see the lifestyle of that community, the food is entirely different. I don't know if people know this. Like, for example, Brahmana community, they say it is limited to Brahmana alone, not because of their jati or caste. It is because of the lifestyle that they follow naturally from their childhood.
You speak about lifestyle and how lifestyle and the discipline in lifestyle is very important if you want to chant these mantras and the bija mantras, right? What is the kind of lifestyle that a mantra practitioner or a shloka practitioner should have?
Naturally, three things are very important. One is alcohol, smoking, as well as non-vegetarian food. These all are known to bring up tamas and rajas in the body. Like, it's what we eat, they say, we are what we think also, but we are what we eat is like what we eat has higher influence on our body and mind. So alcohol, they have to leave. I know it's very difficult to suddenly make the changes, but that's why work with the shlokas and stotras, and at the same time work with your lifestyle. You have to leave non-vegetarian food, alcohol, or even extreme spices, eating too much spices. This is also going to create
onion, garlic,
onion, garlic. That's why you see that community, they don't eat onion and garlic. Okay? Or if you are going to a temple, or if you are going to sit in a puja, they say do not eat onion, garlic, or too much spices. Why? Because it can have a very strong influence on your body and mind, which can react, or which can counter the very benefit of your practice, either in terms of reaction or nothing happens at all. And then after a few days of practice, 21 days of practice, you will come back and say nothing happened, because you did not change your lifestyle. And anywhere you are indulging yourself too much, and it need not be only food, binge watching the TV, wearing strong perfumes, which is, it's not just stimulating, eventually it becomes suffocating, and we don't notice because we are not so sensitive. We don't notice it, we think to chalta hai. But once you begin your practice, you will start seeing that anything that's too strong, like for example watching, your preference of what you want to watch will change, without you having to think about it. Okay, like reality shows and all, I cannot take it. I don't watch reality shows. It's very hard. It's not because it's going to disturb me. The very next day when I sit for japa, I can see the influence of what I watched. So I have reduced watching. So moderation is another important aspect of changing lifestyle. I know for spirituality need not mean, your life becomes boring or whatever you think is entertainment. You don't have to leave any of that. The idea of practicing vairagya for our practical purpose is not having to indulge too much.
Correct.
You have to practice moderation.
So basically all the 5 senses should be minimally or moderately used.
Moderately,
used.
Used.
Not too much.
Yes. This is where they can begin by changing their lifestyle.
So 15 minutes Anushtanam, how do we conclude it?
We gave the two different options of japa, that is for Ganesha as well as for Smarta Gayatri. So after you complete the japa of the mantras, you sit in silence for few seconds just to allow your body, mind to assimilate the energy of the practice. And then we stand up and we go ahead with pradakshina. See, the concept of pradakshina is that we make the divine as the center of our life. And then our life should revolve around that. Every time we do the pradakshina, we have to remember this. We have to remind ourselves of this. That is why we have the shloka also, which kind of, gives a reason why you should do pradakshina. The shloka says, Yani kani cha papani janmantara kritani cha tani tani vinashyanti pradakshina pade pade. People do chant pradakshinam pade pade. There is nothing wrong in it. But like I said, technically if you see, it is pradakshina pade pade. And people think yani kani japa pani, they say. It is yani kani cha papani. Whichever. Yani kani means whatever, whichever. Cha means and. Yani and kani. So cha it is. And then papani. So those were usually two mistakes that happen. You just chant this once while you do the pradakshina. See, usually the pradakshina is done in the temples. We keep the deity in the center and we go around the deity. The concept we just discussed.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough space in our puja room. So what do? We consider deity to be in our heart center and we go around our own selves. In the same place we stand and we do the turning, that pradakshina, it is to be done only in your home place where there is no enough space to go around the deity. In the temple, we should not usually do it, because the pradakshina purpose itself will be lost.
Correct.
Yes. So that is pradakshina. You just chant it once and you go about 3 rounds and then you offer namaskaram. While you offer your namaskaram, like touching your forehead to the ground, practice the sharanagati bhava through one shloka, but we have one shloka for each. So you can pick any one. If you have an Ishta like Vishnu, for Vishnu, Krishna or any of his form, you can chant Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami. This is if Krishna is Ishta Devata or any of his form. If Bhagavan Shiva or any of his form Ishta Devata, then you can chant Anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama tasmat karunya bhavena rakshamam parameshwara. This. But if any of the Devis are there, Ishta Devata, same shloka, instead of Rakshamam Parameshwara, they say Rakshamam Jagadishwari. So they pick any one of this shloka. If no Ishta Devata at all, then we strongly recommend chanting Anyatha Sharanam Nasti. It is a small shloka, so they can chant same one, the one that we chant for Shiva. So, but if they do not know any Ishta Devata, then simply go with the shortest one, that is Anyatha Sharanam Nasti. The very purpose of doing Sharanagati is to give away the sense of I am the doer. We want to surrender it at the feet of the divine. Because if not, my teacher says this, a sadhaka, if they are not aware, they will become egoistic about their own practice, their own lineage, their own guru. It's my guru, my practice, my peace of mind, my lineage. That ego itself has, become the reason for so much clash that we see today. So, practicing Sharanagati at the end of Anushtanam is extremely important. Now, in the same context, the last shloka is practicing Loka Prarthana. Loka Prarthana means practicing a shloka for the welfare of the entire world. Here we usually chant the Shanti mantra. There are plenty. The shortest and simplest one, the shloka is Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. This is basically let everybody should live peacefully, happily. That is the message. So now you are bringing everyone else into your prayer. Again, you are trying to dilute your ego. That strong sense of I-ness is now expanding to everyone else, right? So that is the idea of concluding your Anushtanam. Always do that. Concluding your spiritual Anushtanam with a Loka Prarthana.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. And then we say one Om, 3 Shanti. That means the final conclusion of it. That is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With that we conclude and then we go about our day.
So each of these Anushtanams are done only once.
Yeah. All the shlokas in the Anushtanam are done only once. Only the japa, repetition, we have discussed already.
Another viewer's choice shloka was what is that one effective, simple shloka for boosting overall health, physical health and mental health?
Oh, definitely Dhanvantari Shloka. Namami Dhanvantarimaadidevam Surasurairvanditapadapadmam Loke Jararugбhaya Mrityunasham Dataramisham Vividhaushadhinam. Here we are acknowledging both the Dhanvantari who gives who removes the fear of illness or disease, who gives health, who also gives medicine.
Okay.
So that is a very beautiful shloka, and it is a shloka traditionally spoken in Ayurveda,
Okay.
traditionally chanted in Ayurveda.
How many times when do you do it?
Once usually. A strong recommendation is before taking medicine. If you're taking medicine for some reason, then definitely think of Dhanvantari and then take the medicine.
People who have long-term sickness, I won't say terminal illness, but long-term sickness, chronic illness for them.
Yeah, for them definitely Bhagavan Shiva, the Mrityunjaya mantra, which is from Vedas. So unless you have learnt it from a teacher, then you don't chant it. Instead, the best is Mahamrityunjaya stotra, which is done by Markandeya. So that can be chanted, that can be listened to. You can constantly listen. Vishnu Sahasranama is another powerful stotra for this purpose. Both those stotras, if you can listen on daily basis, it's amazing. It helps a lot for both who are supporting the person who is ill and the person who is ill. For both, it's very important.
Okay. You talked about the Mahamrityunjay mantra. This mantra can also work very well for giving someone a long life, right? What are some of the other benefits of Mahamrityunjay mantra? Because it's used so much all across.
See, the idea of Mrityunjaya is not like removing death. That's not possible. Anybody who is born has to die one day. What kind of death? That is one. Or even more practical would be removing the fear of death. We become so afraid of dying that we stop living altogether. Removing that fear is one of the ways how Bhagavan Shiva as Mrityunjaya, through that chanting especially, both stotra and mantra, that's how he supports us, or that's how he blesses us, removing the fear of death. That means living the life to the fullest. As a result of that, he gives us enough to live the life to the fullest, having no fear. So that is another very practical and very visible result of Mahamrityunjaya stotra or mantra.
How do you chant this? If you can please teach us.
It's actually a very beautiful mantra. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamritaat. This is the mantra. There are few mistakes, but even those who have been doing it regularly, for them I would like to answer this. People either say Trayambakam or they say Triyambakam, Tri or Tra. It's Triya. T, R, Y. It has to come together. So Triya. Triambakam. Triambakam yajamahe. It's a phonetic. Triambakam yajamahe. While pronouncing it becomes Triambakam yajamahe. And Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, it's correct. Urva, people say Urvarukam. So it is short U. Urvarukam. Urvarukamiva bandhanat. Mrityoho mukshiya mamritat. It's mamritat, if they say, it's again the opposite of what we are saying. Ma amritat, mamritat. But if they stop, if they don't pronounce the long ma, then the meaning becomes opposite. No again. Ma amritat.
Coming to another shloka, which is a part of the Dinacharya, any shloka that we have for food, because as per the Vedic and the Yogic texts, food is seen as condensed prana. You know, it's prana entering you. So, and it is said that if you consume it with the right energy, with the right intention, the food can turn into prasadam. Yes. So, any shloka that can help energize our food and make this possible?
Yeah, definitely. We acknowledge the Devi, the very Devi who is of the form of food through this shloka. Annapurne sadapurne shankara pranavallabhe jnana vairagya siddhyartham bhikshan dehi cha parvati. Here, It's not just food. We are in fact asking her bhiksha, which means we have to acknowledge the importance of the food that is in our plate. It's her bhiksha, it's her prasadam. Like, she, out of compassion, she has given us the food. When we acknowledge that, then the way we receive the food, the consume the food, that very energy itself changes. So before eating the food, we keep the plate in front of us with both the palms. Some practice only right palm, but we practice both palm. Touch your plate, not food. Touch your plate with both the palms. Close your eyes and chant the shloka once. And we recommend chanting this before lunch, because morning breakfast is not considered as the main meal in our tradition. It's a small meal. So whatever is highly nutritious or nourishing, that is main meal, once a day is enough. Even before dinner also we used to chant in Gurukulam. That practice can also be done, but at least before lunch is the strong recommended practice. And after that, the last shloka that we have to conclude the day is prayer before bedtime, which is of utmost importance. Like, we go to bed, nothing after that we have to make sure. So complete all the work, and right before going to bed is when you will do this. You sit up, you can even wrap yourself with the blanket, close your eyes, a few conscious breath. You don't have to do any pranayama, just observe your breath at the nostrils for 3 to 5 rounds, become aware. That is grounding. And then simply chant this shloka: Ramam skandam hanumantam vainateyam vrikodaram shayane yasmaren nityam duswapnastasya nashyati, which literally is talking about those who remember or who surrender to Rama, Skanda, Hanuman, and Vainateya. They, all of their bad dreams will be, they will not be troubled by bad dreams, which means they will have a very beautiful,
Peaceful
deep sleep.
sleep.
Ha, peaceful. They will sleep like a baby.
Okay. So, as per you, what are some of the explosive insights on shlokas that you can give to our viewers that people maybe don't know of?
Actually, what you said clicked, and I feel like I would like to start from there. Out in the world, the mantras are more popular than the shlokas.
Yeah.
But if you consider practice hierarchy, shlokas come first, and then stotras, and then the mantras, be it Veda mantra, Bija mantra, whichever it is. It is like how our education happens. Like, we don't straight away start with master's degree or PhD. Like, mantras and Bija mantras are to that level. It's, yes, everybody has to eventually go there, because those are way more powerful. They are not just words with meaning, they are sound energies. But then, even to go there, even to be able to chant, forget understanding them or doing the anushtanam of them, even to be able to chant them the way that is necessary, we need shlokas and the stotras. That's why prerequisites of anything that is higher, or in terms of spiritual practice, is shlokas and stotras. So if we see this, everything like shloka, stotras, the very purpose of them is to work on our emotional level. Even before energy, the mantras work around the energy level. And stotras, when they become very intense, the practice of shloka and stotra, when they become very intense, then we can touch the energy level, like altering the prana that we talk about, like in terms of Gayatri that we do. The stotras can do that to some extent. Or, for example, there are very powerful stotras, like, for example, Lalita Sahasranama, or the stotras from Devi Mahatmyam. We have Argala stotra, Siddha Kunjika stotra. These are very powerful. So when these stotras are done upasana upon, or anushtana, which means done regular, consistent, dedicated practice, along with lifestyle and all, of course, when that is done, they can work in your energy level. But the stotras, the best result they give is in your emotional level. There is emotional refinement happening, emotional purity. That's something we call as chitta shuddhi. Chitta means mind, shuddhi means purification, which is extremely important for us to go higher in the spiritual practice.
Okay. So, shlokas and stotras, which are a group of shlokas, work basically on the emotional level,
Level.
and it is the mantras which work on the pranic level.
Energy, prana, energy, and higher levels. Those are the ones, those are the channels that can take you to beyond,
Understood.
body mind complex.
The shlokas also work on the energy body, na?
They do. Definitely they do. That's what I said. Not just one time chanting. Like, whenever I'm in trouble, I will chant. When the practice becomes intense, regular, consistent, then definitely they will work on your energy level, which is slightly above your emotional level. So it's a step-by-step process.
Got it.
Like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's start with the fun part, which is the shloka rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have like As short as possible.
Yeah.
Huge confusion about pronunciation. Like in North India, you say Ram. In South India, you say Rama. You know, there's Yog. In Hindi, we say Yog. In down south, there'll be Yoga. You know, so what is the correct pronunciation? And some of the important words that you think should be pronounced correctly.
Yeah. See, it's definitely not about North of India or South of India. It's the language that these words belong to. So, all these words originally of Samskrita language. And in Samskrita language, each word has something called root. So, these words, for example, in the confusion, like Yog, Ram, Dharm, these are all Rama, Yoga. It's neither Rama, not Ram. It's Akara, Hraswa. So, Rama, Yoga, Dharma, and so on. So, because we are borrowing these
Karma.
words, karma. So, we are borrowing these words from the Sanskritam, and we owe it to pronouncing it the way it is.
These days, people are losing a lot of things. So, for finding lost things, what is that one short, quick mantra?
There is a beautiful one. Kartavirya Arjuna was a king, and he used to have thousands of arms. And the Purana, Bhagavata Purana says, he never used to lose things. His memory was so much that wherever it is lost, he was able to find it. So that's how efficient that king was, and he had the divine blessing of Bhagavan Dattatreya. So keeping that king in mind, there is one shloka: Kartaviryaarjuno nama raja bahu sahasravan tasya smarana matrena gatan nashtancha labhyate. There are people who chant hritam, nashtam, both are correct.
For better focus in studies for all students, children, university students, what would that one shloka be?
Especially, see, praying to Ma Saraswati or Smarta Gayatri can definitely help in general. But for those who have trouble focusing on the sleep or studying, they can chant this shloka of Hayagriva. Hayagriva was an incarnation of Bhagavan Vishnu who secured the Vedas. He's the one who protected the very source of knowledge. So we bow down to him through this shloka. Jnanandamayan devam nirmalasphatikakritim adharam sarva vidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe. This shloka is amazing, and they can chant it every day at least 3 to 5 times before taking up their studies.
Okay. If someone's wanting to start a new business, sitting for competitive exams, maybe career change or marriage also for that matter, anything new that they want to take on, and they want that career to basically be siddh, that fruition of that task. So what is that one shloka that you can recommend?
There is a famous one from Sundarakanda of Ramayana where Ma Sita talks about this to Hanuman. So she is relying on Hanuman to get the job done. So we become the Sita here while we chant this shloka. Tomasmin karya niryoge pramanam harisattama hanuman yatnamasthaya dukkha kshayakaro bhava. These are literally the words of Ma Sita, where she is leaving all her fear, all her fatigue, all of that, waiting for Rama to come, all of that to Hanuman and trusting him to get the job done. And he actually does that. When everybody is desperate, Rama is not able to find Sita, Sita is not able to come out of the captivity, everyone was frustrated. It was Hanuman who stood up and got the job done. So we can always rely on this shloka.
Sure. Okay. Should we chant shlokas aloud, or can it be done mentally also?
Shlokas and stotras always out loud chanting.
Do shlokas work differently in the morning and in the evening?
Different shlokas that are meant for different purpose, yes, but otherwise no, it's the same.
What is the specific postures for chanting shlokas?
Anything that has your spine upright. So you need not sit down on the ground, especially a beginner need not sit on the ground. And you can take the support, of course, but just make sure you're not leaning, you're not too relaxed like this. So if you can keep your back upright, that is good.
Can shlokas be chanted during travel also, or only in clean, consecrated spaces?
The Anushtana related or Upasana related that we discussed, for example, Smarta Gayatri, it's in a place. You have to sit down in a place and do the Anushtana. But others, you can practice.
Okay. What are the shlokas that we should never chant without guidance?
Mantras and Bija mantras.
Should never be
Yes,
chanted without
yes,
guidance. Okay.
yes.
Is listening to shlokas as effective as chanting them?
No.
Okay.
Stotras can be, yes, but shlokas definitely.
Chanting is the most
Yeah.
effective. And then listening.
Yes.
Okay. So our endeavor with each podcast is to keep adding more value to our content. So Vijayalakshmi ji here has been kind enough to give a free practice guide on today's session. So Tell us about it.
So we will be presenting this whole whatever Shloka Dinacharya that we have discussed. We'll be presenting it as one bunch of practice so that practitioners can revisit for their practice. And if there is any confusion, they can go to that particular section of the video and understand it better. And we have also given a link to download the PDF guide of this particular daily routine, which they can take away. Please make the most out of this.
So continue watching. Vijayalakshmi ji will be taking you through each of the shlokas, their uchcharan, their intonations, their phonetics in a bit of a detail so that you exactly know how each shloka is pronounced without being fearful of the mispronunciation.
Yes.
Before wrapping up, there is a little gift that you're going to be giving to our viewers. So, what is that gift, if you can tell us?
Actually, it is to support their practice. Whatever we have covered, the Dinacharya, Shloka Dinacharya part, that we will be bringing together as a practice, and we'll be keeping it now from now, like towards the end of the video, so that whenever they want to practice, they can revisit here. And in case there is some confusion, they can revisit that section of the video for more understanding, for more clarity.
Superb.
So we can go with that.
That is so sweet of you.
Yeah, thank you. The morning prayer shloka that you chant even before getting out of your bed. Karagre vasate lakshmihi, karamadhye saraswati, karamule sthita gauri, prabhate karadarshanam. Samudravasane devi, parvatastana-mandale, Vishnu-patni namastubhyam, padasparsham kshamasva me. Shloka before taking bath. Gange cha yamune chaiva, Godavari saraswati, Narmade sindhu kaveri, Jalesmin sannidhim kuru. Now, shloka while lighting the deepam. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam, Arogyam dhana sampadam, Shatru buddhi vinashaya, Deepajyotirnamostute. Now, the second step, daily prayer shlokas. Vakratunda mahakaya, Suryakoti samaprabha, Nirvignam kuru me deva, Sarvakaryeshu sarvada. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Tvamaham prarthaye nityam, Vidyam buddhin cha dehi me. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namastestu Mahamaye, Shri Pithe Surapujite, Shankha Chakra Gada Haste, Mahalakshmi Namostute. Namas Suryaya Somaya, Mangalaya Budhaya cha, Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha, Rahave Ketave Namaha. Smarta Gayatri Mantra. Yo Devas Savita Smakam, Dhiyo Dharmadi Gocharaha, Prerayet Tasya Yadbhargaha, Tadvarenyamupasmahe. Pradakshina mantra. Yani kani cha papani, janmantara kritani cha, tani tani vinashyanti, pradakshina pade pade. Sharanagati shloka for Bhagavan Vishnu. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva, buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat, karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai, Narayanaayeti samarpayami. Sharanagati shloka for Shiva. Anyatha sharanam nasti, Tvameva sharanam mama, Tasmat karunya bhavena, Rakshamam parameshwara. Same shloka for Devi. Anyatha sharanam nasti, Tvameva sharanam mama, Tasmat karunya bhavena, Rakshaman jagadishwari. Now the last one is Loka Prarthana. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Thank you so much, Vijayalakshmi ji. It has been such a pleasure. And thank you for offering so much content so selflessly. When we co-create with people who come with similar intentions, it's, I feel like we're truly doing justice to the platform that we've created, which is Body to Being.
Thank you, Shlokaji, for having us, for giving Nirvana this opportunity, this platform. I really hope that viewers are taking a very valuable practice from this.
In case you'd like to be a part of our online and in-person yoga, diet and spiritual programs, you can join our WhatsApp group below, where we post all our upcoming programs and give free tips on health, diet and lifestyle.